In 2022, Animal Justice conducted the biggest ever investigation of Canadian zoos. Our hidden camera footage reveals widespread suffering, injuries, death, and troubling threats to public safety. The animals found in zoos are meant to be wild. On the plains, in forests, and along tundra. Instead, at many zoos we visited, we found animals showing clear signs of mental distress from being trapped for life behind bars. And all for the sake of entertainment. The heartbreaking conditions at these zoos shows why it's critically important for Parliament to pass the Jane Goodall Act, a groundbreaking Senate bill that would protect over 800 species from suffering in captivity. In recent years, there's been a deluge of reports of zoos across the country abusing animals in their care. Over the summer of 2022, Animal Justice visited nearly every zoo in Ontario, the roadside zoo capital of Canada, to get a first-hand view of the state of zoos, both big and small. Animals in many zoos performed repetitive behaviors like pacing and rocking, a sign of severe psychological disturbance brought on by the unbearable stress of captivity. In the wild, big cats like lions, cougars, and bobcats roam vast distances, climb trees, and hunt for food in their natural habitats. But in zoos, they're trapped in cages only a sliver of the size of their territory in the wild, with next to nothing to do. It's common to see them pacing or circling, a very unnatural behavior. Monkeys and other primates in the wild live with their families, swing through trees, and enjoy life on their own terms. Not so in zoos, though. Across the board, our camera saw monkeys trapped in small enclosures, lonely, lethargic, and desperate. Our cameras also found concerning health issues and injuries at zoos, and even death.
I know you're busy, but I think there's a dead rabbit in that pen.
At Saunders Country Critters, we found a dead rabbit covered in flies who had gone unnoticed by zoo staff possibly for days, all while her companion was left caged next to her body. Bears at Marineland, forced into confinement together, suffered from facial injuries, which employees admitted was due to fighting.
One of those bears there has some scratches on their faces. What happened there? Oh, they're just getting fights and stuff? Okay.
It's brotherly love.
Oh, is that it?
Animal Justice also identified serious risks to public safety at many zoos, including cages in disrepair, guests in close contact with animals, and doors left open.
Hey, is that door unlocked? I just noticed that.
Animal escapes in Canada happen way too often. For example, in 2016, a lion escaped and was gunned down. And in 2021, a kangaroo died from injuries after getting loose. Zoos are often being exposed for appalling conditions, but governments continually fail to act. In 2016, Animal Justice went undercover at Papineau Zoo outside of Ottawa. We exposed baby animals torn from their mothers to be used for selfies, a zookeeper admitting to beating a baby lion cub.
He was on a leash, and I just smacked him across the face like 5 times as hard as I could.
Troubling repetitive behavior, and a shocking number of deaths and injuries. Despite public outcry and protests about the conditions at Papineau, nothing was done. In Ontario, you don't even need a license or permit to operate a zoo. So no matter how badly the animals are suffering, authorities can't shut a zoo down. Charges against zoos are rarely laid, even though the problems like the ones we saw at these zoos would be visible to any member of the public or government inspectors who visit. One of the worst roadside zoos even claimed to have a clean record from authorities.
We get inspected biannually by what's now known as PAWS. We passed with flying colors. The only thing he said was that the cages look shabby.
Zoos often claim their true focus is conservation, but don't be fooled. Animals bred in zoos are almost never returned to the wild.
So when you breed them, do they end up getting back out into the wild at all here? Or is
No, so ours is a breeding program and our goal is to rebuild the population, but it's more for research.
African Lion Safari near Hamilton is the elephant trafficking hub of North America, selling elephants to zoos across the continent and breaking up tight-knit elephant families in the process. Lucy the elephant has been called the world's loneliest elephant. In the wild, elephants live in complex social groups and travel vast distances. Lucy, however, has suffered alone in a small enclosure for over a decade at the Edmonton Valley Zoo, with the zoo refusing to move her to a warmer climate with other elephants. The Jane Goodall Act would help ensure that no future elephants like Lucy are stuck in zoos and would stop places like African Lion Safari from breeding more baby elephants into a doomed life of captivity.
Animal rights activists, there's a bunch of different foundations. They're working with the government to basically pass a bill that would stop us from doing anything with the elephants.
In fact, this federal bill would protect over 800 species of animals trapped in zoos across the country, including apes, monkeys, big cats, wolves, bears, and more. The Jane Goodall Act is an important first step toward transforming outdated zoos into a new, more compassionate sanctuary model of animal care. Canada made groundbreaking progress for animals in 2019 when we passed laws to end whale and dolphin captivity. This bill will keep the momentum going, address Canada's zoo crisis, and extend our circle of compassion to even more animals. Please join us in calling on the Canadian government to support the Jane Goodall Act and pass it into law as quickly as possible. Visit animaljustice.ca/zoo cruelty to take action.